Hello, everybody, and welcome to our special Survivor Hangout. I hope. You know the deal. You can follow me over at Twitter. I'm at Reality Recaps, and who am I joined with tonight?
It's me, Eric. It's Rob Cesternino. How are you doing?
I am doing amazing. Where can the people find you, Rob, as if they don't already know?
Okay, well, I'm not going to give out my address or anything, but if you want to listen to any of my podcasts, you can do so on my website at robhasawebsite.com. We are blogging and doing video podcasts and all sorts of good stuff all season long about Survivor and Amazing Race and all sorts of reality TV at robhasawebsite.com.
Yes, and we love it. And you do stuff all year long, Rob. You don't even just do reality TV. You're also, I saw that you were covering The Walking Dead now, right?
The Walking Dead is a little bit like a reality show because instead of somebody getting voted out every week, it's basically somebody gets ripped apart by a zombie every week, and then you get to talk about the strategy behind should that person have done that there? Was that the right decision? So that's a fun show to talk about. But I know where our bread is buttered on Rob's website, and we talk about the reality TV. But you know, the people, I find that a lot of people that are reality TV fans are generally TV fans. So we talked about the final season of Breaking Bad as well. So there's a lot of crossover between some of the really big hit serialized dramas and reality TV.
There is. But you know what everyone wants to hear us talk about, Rob? Survivor. So
Sure.
That is what we are going to do for you guys right now for about the next 45 minutes. Of course, you guys know if you're watching this in our Z-Box room, that is the only place for you to leave questions for Rob to answer. We will pick a bunch of them and put them on the show. So leave your questions below where you're watching this video right now in the Z-Box room. So Rob, question. Is it true or not true that nobody wants to date somebody that doesn't make the merge?
This is true. Nobody wants to date somebody before they or if they get voted out over the merge. There is a little bit of a class system with the reality stars, and it's really kind of horrible to say, but for the most part, reality TV people are horrible people, and they're very shallow, and a lot of them are thinking about, oh, is this person going to help? If I'm going to be a celebrity couple, nobody's going to care about me if I am with somebody. If I'm like my reality TV showmance is with somebody from before the merge. So it is a thing. Luckily, it seems like Hayden is not thinking that way. But Kat seems a little insecure about the relationship here.
Yeah, what is up with Kat? And it was so awkward. Like, I felt bad in a way for Hayden, which is like, I'd switch. I'd switch. I'd switch. Like, staring him down. It was kind of weird. And then he, God knows I love you, Kat, but he was kind of like, what? It's like talking to a child talking to Kat. Like, I'm going to make you get to the right decision. I just got to kind of lead you a little bit.
Well, I don't want to say it was like talking to a child, but, you know, it is, you know, I think a lot of, you know, people in relationships have been there where sometimes the other person in the relationship might be a little emotional, and you're sort of trying to, you know, navigate a different path than that you'd like to see happen.
That is very PC and good from you, Rob. I will take the cat heat. I will take the cat heat. Let's jump to a question right off the bat from our Z-Box room. The Tarsier says, you're both friends with Tyson and Aris, and I'm assuming this is to you, Rob. So which side are you with if you can only choose one?
Oh my God, because it's been weird. Like early on this season, you know, I am, you know, I don't want to say BFF, but I would say just good Fs with Otis and Tyson. And early on in the season, they had an alliance. I said, oh great, my friends are in an alliance together, and this is great. Now all of a sudden, these two guys that I'm friends with are sort of going after each other. Now I kind of feel like caught in the middle. It's like when you have a breakup, and it's like, whose side are you on? I've tried to be pretty agnostic here, covering the breakup of Arson, Tyson, and Otis. So I don't know. I'm not going to pick a side. I'm going to be neutral. Switzerland.
All right.
Who's gonna buy me something? Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want? Z-Box Room. Rob
No.
needs something to answer that question.
I meant, is one of them gonna win the game and take me out to dinner? Then I'll be on their side. But until then, we are neutral.
I'm pretty sure that's a Gina Marie move from Big Brother. I don't know if the survivors are going that route.
Yeah.
So were you surprised at all to see Kat lose at Redemption Island, or did we pretty much assume that's how that was gonna go down?
Well, once you saw what the puzzle was, and then also, if you remember that puzzle from the finale of Survivor, Blood versus Water, there was another person, Eddie, if you remember Eddie from last season. I don't think he got one piece in the whole time. And so you figured that this was not going to be up Kat's alley. Kat says, oh my God, it's a puzzle I can't even spell. I don't know what spelling has to do with a puzzle. But you kind of felt like that Kat didn't really have a great shot at this one. And I think she also psyched herself out a little bit. I think she was also like, oh, I can't do this. And I think that's sort of like half the battle already when you're sort of like, oh, well, I know I already lost, so let me try this. And she was then complaining that Monica was, or Laura M. was cheating. So it seemed like she was sort of like off her game there.
So is it cheating, Rob? I know Jeff flat out said it's not cheating. What are your feelings on it? Is looking at the other person's puzzle cheating?
Yes, yes, that's cheating.
Wow.
That is the definition of cheating. You know, if you are in school and somebody's taking a test next to you, the teacher doesn't say, hey, looking at the next person's paper, it's okay. They say, hey, that's cheating. You're not supposed to do that. So that's definitely cheating. So I will quibble with Jeff now. Jeff Probst could say, hey, you're allowed to cheat. It's Survivor. It's dog eat dog. But don't say that's not cheating. Like that is cheating.
Okay, so it is cheating. I'll give you it's cheating. So if you were ever to go back on Survivor, would you then cheat in that way, or would you play it like Kat?
No, of course. You would do whatever you had to do to stay alive. I'm just saying let's keep it real.
Call it cheating.
That is cheating. But, hey, I'm cheating to win, but don't say it's not cheating.
All right. Let's bring up another question from our Z-Box room from Diana, who says that she agrees with Julia. Do you think that there is harm in taking the clue and just sharing it with your tribe mates, or is the hidden immunity idol just poison in this game?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a time and a place for when the hidden immunity idol might become not as poisonous. But right now, I don't even understand what's going on here. But, you know, you got John, and I said this a couple of weeks ago. It's like Candace forgot to tell him who else to give the idol to after she left. It's like, well, Candace was the last person. It's like Candace is gone and Brad Culpepper is gone. So there's nobody there to tell John to give the idol to somebody else, and there's nobody there to tell Monica to do something different with the idol. So until then, like both of them are just like the last instruction I got was give it to Monica. The last instruction she got was put it in the fire. So we're just gonna keep going through this cycle until something changes. But where I think this will become different is I think after the merge, what'll happen is that there'll be somebody who knows they're next up on the chopping block. And I think that person will say, hey, I'll take the clue. Give me the, please give me the clue. And as long as that person didn't screw the person over, they'll say, all right, fine, you know what? I'll help you out. Here's the clue. And then that person already has a target on their back, and now they have a chance to find the idol.
That's a very interesting strategy. I don't understand why Monica, just knowing that the merge is coming up, why she just not take that clue, hold it up in the air, march back to the tribe, and then as a group look at that clue together to have an idol in play going into a merge.
Well, that's interesting. And again, this is sort of like this black and white thinking of, okay, I got to put it in the fire, But I think she's somewhat, I don't think that Monica is a great strategist. As much as Kat says she's strategizing all the time, I don't think she's thinking outside the box. And maybe somebody with who is more of a strategic thinker might say that. But I think Monica's just like, hey, last thing I heard was this is bad, so I gotta throw it away. Earlier in the season, we said, well, you know, you don't want to have to go back to your group and say, okay, here's who's in the group. But I think for Monica, she's like, well, we're going to have a merge. I don't want people to think I have an idol after the merge because then I'll be a target and I'm not a target. So, but I think that's interesting.
Speaking of strategy, do you think it was good strategy on Aris's part or not to leave basically Tyson alone with the rest of the group? I know that he thinks they're BFFs, but just in general, is it a good idea for you to leave your whole tribe or any group in a reality TV show alone to plot your demise?
You know, it's a good question. And generally, I say it's not a good idea, but I kind of feel like it's sort of like a cost benefits analysis of, you know, Otis has gotten himself in a pretty good spot in this game. And, you know, I know that like a lot of people are going to scoff and say, whoa, this guy went to go meditate. What planet is he on? But at the same time, I'm sure that Otis gets some benefit out of doing his meditation. He just has no idea that it's like, you know, if he could sort of meditate with one eye open, that would really be the ideal thing, or figure out some way to meditate because I'm sure that he's getting some benefit from that. And you know, the idea of visualizing Jeff Probst reading his name as the winner of the game, I'm sure that is like a positive thing for him. And I hope I think that you could probably tell that maybe I've been in California too long, that this is how I think. But I think that is actually a good thing for his Survivor game. It's unfortunate that he, you know, I don't think he realizes the vulnerable position that he's in. And while he walks, far enough away that it's classic Survivor, everybody's plotting against him. So unfortunately, he doesn't know. Like, I think if he sensed he was in a vulnerable position, he would not walk away. So at the end of the day, it's probably a net bad thing. You never want to leave people alone. You know, that's why when I was on Survivor, I never wanted to be one of these people that are like, all right, we're going fishing today. We're going to go be in the boat the whole day. And it's like, okay, I'll be here at the camp, figuring out ways to vote you out all day. So have fun, have a good day on the with the fishing boat.
Right. So, well, speaking of when you played Survivor, Rob, here is a question from Haley in our Z-Box room who says, did they ever give you food off camera?
Yes, actually, they did give me, but only me. There was like a bunch of times that they said, Rob, here's pizza. There was
chicken.
That I got a Big Mac. They said, Rob, oh my God, you're being so funny right now, and you're cracking everybody up. Thank you so much for making such good TV, and thanks for voting out all these people and making this show so interesting. So we'll just give you all the food that you want. But don't tell.
I think that is called sarcasm, Haley, and I'm going to go with no, they did not.
No, they don't give anybody food on Survivor. That's not, it's the Survivor is legit, But with all these crazy reality stars, that if Survivor was not legit, like people would have, come out and said, by now, the show's in its 27th season, it is for real, and they don't give you food.
Right. I don't think they're giving food. Let's go to Michelle from our Z-Box room who says, Rob, do you think Tyson made a mistake prepping all the guys to vote out Aris before losing the challenge? Could this put him in danger if someone sells Tyson out for his plan?
That's a good question. You do want to kind of lay the groundwork on a plan like this, because you want to know who's cool and who's not cool. But, I mean, yeah, I think that there is some merit to that. I think that might have been too early. Now, I don't know who Otis would have, I guess you have to strike while the iron is hot, and Otis was away. But maybe the right move wouldn't have been for Tyson to say, hey, here's what the plan is. If we lose, we're voting out Otis because we can't let him get to Vetus after the merge. I think the right move was probably be to more go one-on-one to each of those people. Like, so, hey, Caleb, what are you thinking about after the merge? I mean, I think that there's a chance maybe, you know, we might be able to work together. I mean, it would be a shame if there was, you know, the people who were couples, if they were together, you know, sort of instead of like, hey, here's the plan, point blank. When next time we go to Tribal Council, we have to vote out either Otis, or if we're at the merge, we have to vote out Vetus. So we'll see.
See, I mean, we all know they cannot fit everything into a Survivor show, and I feel like the edit always gives things away. Not so much last week, but this week, I feel like the edit laid out exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought, based on the fact that he was doing that he was going to somehow throw that challenge to ensure they'd be able to vote him out this week. So I was surprised how hard they were fighting for it in that immunity challenge.
Very interesting. You know, it was actually very close. I mean, I couldn't believe when they started this challenge. It was like, and you get to sit somebody out, and they're going to sit out Sierra? Like, I was like, boy. Like, Jeff didn't say, you have to sit somebody out, and it has to be one of the men on this team. Like no, you can sit out whoever you want.
Yeah, it was just...
You know, these two tribes, they look like a mismatch, but both of these two immunity challenges were very close, really neck and neck.
I am floored by Tina. I mean, one of the original survivors, she is still in there keeping up with everybody. I mean, she is an amazing, powerful woman in this game. And I love when they were all tangled up in the chains, and I thought that was brilliant strategy to hold everybody. I loved it.
Yeah, I know Tina from way back in Survivor All-Stars. Her and I, we were early boots in that game, and her and I and Rudy and Richard Hatch were sent off to sequester together. And so I spent 3 weeks with Tina after that, and she is a very sweet woman.
Yeah, I love me some Tina.
Very competitive.
Definitely, Tina's very competitive. I mean, look at her this season. I forgot how well she played Survivor, and I feel
Eric, let me ask you, what do you think of Tina wanting to set up Katie with Vetus?
Oh, it's on the list, Rob.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No. Let's go. Let us go, because we'll go right to it right now. I think it's ridiculous. Look. All the props to Vetus in the world for being a recovering drug addict, but I'm going to be stereotypical right now and play the stereotypical role and just say, I don't know what mother is like, oh, here's daughter, go with the recovered drug addict. I'm sure it'll work out.
Well, the line that I thought was particularly odd was Tina saying, whatever guy goes and marries Katie is gonna have to club her over the head. What? What is she saying? That is it that Katie doesn't like guys? I didn't understand what she meant like that. Does she just not have any interest in dating?
Maybe it means that maybe it just means she's stubborn or very picky, or I don't know. Just look, no one's gonna. With Vetus, he doesn't have to beat her over the head. He can just drug her. So.
Oh, come on! Too soon.
All right, then let us go to a question from our Z-Box room. It is from Brett, and I'm sorry. It is from Tamir, and he says, "Is Hayden better at Big Brother or Survivor?" And I think that is opinion. So what would your opinion be on that, Rob?
Well, I think we haven't seen Hayden really do anything on Survivor yet. So I kind of feel like Hayden is better at Big Brother, because I think that Survivor is a game where you probably need to make a big move more so, and I feel like Hayden is probably better suited the way that he has a very subtle social game. I feel like he is better suited for the Big Brother game, although he is more of a physical player, which that translates better to Survivor. So I think the book's not written yet on Hayden as a Survivor player. So I can answer that question better in a couple of months, but I think Hayden is an underrated Big Brother player.
I'm pretty sure, thanks to Alyssa, the book has been written, but we will not go there. We will not do any spoilers on how the Hayden story will end or not end on Survivor. Let's go to a another Z-Box question from Annex Bananex, who says, when do people start realizing that Hayden is a real threat? So do you have your crystal ball available, Rob? When?
Magic 8-Ball, but
Yeah.
doesn't answer, you can't ask it as sort of date question. I think that Hayden is, if this was a typical Survivor season, you start to say, okay, well, Hayden is going to be one of these first guys out at the merge. But the question is, how solid is this alliance of 5 that Tyson is building? Because if he's in the alliance of 5, and now there's only 4 people left on the other side, of course, somebody's going to come back from Redemption Island. It'll be interesting to see exactly what if this group of 5 holds up, then I don't think they're going to worry about Hayden for a little bit. I think they're going to be voting out the other people who were not in the group of 5.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it all comes down to the way these chips are gonna fall as things shake out. Now, do you think that the merge is going to happen next week the way everybody is predicting, or do you think we're gonna get one more week out of them being in separate tribes?
No, I think it's time to merge. I mean, it's the 8th episode already. They also teased on the preview that somebody is coming back from Redemption Island. Typically, the 2 times they've done Redemption Island before, somebody's come back when they've merged. So I would say I would be beyond surprised if next week was not the merge.
I did not watch the coming attractions, so there you go. Let us go to another Z-Box Room question from...
Did I elicit that for you?
No, you didn't elicit that for me. That was just me trying to save face for myself. I was setting up the room for everybody. Let's go to another Z-Box question from Diana, who wants to know, here we go. Do you feel like the Culpeppers and the Codys will be the Hatfields and McCoys of reality show TV? Because here's hoping.
No, I don't think so. I think that's sort of, I mean, if this went on a whole season, I would say yes, but I think that, the cooler heads of the Culpepper and Cody families are the ones that are left in the game. Even if John came back into the game, I don't think he would feud with Monica. So I don't think that this is going to be a big deal. I think it's sort of going to be like a footnote in Survivor history, the feud between the Culpeppers and the Woodcock Cody family.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Rob, and we all know that I like to disagree, but I'm gonna agree with Rob on that one. This immunity challenge, Rob, what happened to the days of when we used to get the good Jeff sound bites? Has he caught on to that? Because I feel like we have not gotten any good, he's grappling 2 balls, and we don't have any good Jeff sound bites anymore from these immunity challenges.
Yeah, once in a while you get when we have balls in the challenge, and I think the all-time greatest one was Troy Zans balancing his 2 balls on his disc, like.
Yeah, I miss them.
And I think that same challenge was like Troy Zans balls haven't moved in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Those were good. Yeah, I think that not very much here. So I think that Jeff Probst may realize that, but you would think that he would want to be in on the joke. You think he would say them.
Yeah, come on, Jeff. Social media. Those are some good gifts. Those are good mashups we all got. Okay, let's go to another Z-Box question from Brett, who says, what player from your first season, Survivor the Amazon, that hasn't returned yet to Survivor would you most like to see come back on the show, and how well do you think they would do?
Well, okay, if I could recast anybody from Survivor the Amazon who has not come back yet, I would send to the island with my magic wand Miss Heidi Strobel, maybe better known to some people as Mrs. Heidi Hamels, the wife of Philadelphia Philly left-handed ace pitcher Cole Hamels, and let's see how 10 years has changed Heidi. And I think she would do well. I think she's a shark.
Really? All right. You lost me a little bit with the sports, and I was going to say, Rob, you don't know the audience you're talking to right now, but I have a feeling they are mostly your audience, so yes, you do.
Yeah, Heidi Hamels, she's the original baseball bunny.
Okay. I got it with baseball. Let's go to another question from our Z-Box room, from Diana, who says, do you think that Jenna deserved to win your season, aside from yourself, of course?
Sure. I mean, I voted for her to win the season, so if we're going to take myself out of the equation, yeah, I think she deserved to beat Matthew in Survivor the Amazon. I think, you know, whenever you talk about these seasons and who deserved to win, I mean, I think a good, you know, barometer is who knew what the plans were most of the time. Because sometimes you get somebody that was in there, they're like, yeah, they made it the whole way, but they sort of like, they were never in the planning of what was going on in the house. I mean, go back to Big Brother over this summer, and how often was Gina Marie really, you know, controlling what was going on in the house? Not often. As opposed to Andy, whoever was in power was a powerful voice in the room of what was going to happen. And I feel like that was, you know, a fair comparison to the amount of, you know, decision making that went on during the course of the season between Jenna and Matthew.
There you go. So let's start getting into Tribal Council.
Sure.
Tadhana wins the immunity challenge. No real surprise there. We see them all come back. Laura pretty much tells Vetus, you're out. I mean, we know that happens. We don't normally see it. I kind of feel like that edit, to me, signifies he's not out. Because if you're showing it to us when you never do, that means it's out. And then I feel like we got to Tribal, and was it Tribal or a production meeting? Because Jeff is up there like, so what's your story going to be this season? And what's your story going to be? It was very awkward. What did you think of Tribal?
Yeah, I have to agree. I felt like that Jeff seemed like he was almost like leading the witness there with Laura. Like, as far as I could tell, nobody mentioned Laura being on the chopping block. I mean, you had this one, like, it was like a blind side, and then Laura did like the opposite of a blind side, of a vision side. I don't know what you'd call that. But she basically said, hey, Vetus, I'm very sad, but it's you tonight. You're going home. And Vetus is like, okay, is that so? And then basically everybody else at Tribal Council is like, okay, we're going to blindside Laura. And Jeff is like, all right, Vetus, if it's you tonight, what's your story? And then switches to, so Laura B, what if it's you? What if it's you tonight? You're the one that gets voted out here instead of Vetus. You were the one that opened your mouth. What if it's you? It's like, boy, Jeff, really, like, you know. And Laura, of course, maybe another Survivor player might have picked up on what was going on, but not Laura. Still very shocked about what was happening.
I have heard both of our friend Matt from Big Brother say that he thinks Laura is the Kathy of his and Reagan's season with Brittany. I don't see that at all, but interesting point to Matt there.
Yeah, I mean, sort of like that. I can see what he's saying in that they're both the floater who's not doing anything. Like, I felt like Laura B kind of got painted with the wrong brush tonight. I think that they sort of painted her with that, oh, she's untrustworthy. And I don't think that was the case at all. I think she was just like, you're going into the merge, you're trying to pare down the numbers of who's with you, and she was just a floater who wasn't with anybody, and she doesn't know the game enough to be in the alliance. So it's basically, she's just the, the short stick here. You have the person that's like, well, we don't really want her in our alliance, so she's going to go home. It had nothing to do with her being untrustworthy. Like, I felt like the whole thing with her blurting out, hey, Vetus, it's you tonight, I thought that was a red herring. I mean, I kind of think that she was going home no matter what.
Oh, that is interesting. I do not. You guys should comment and let us know below this video what you think. Was it always the plan for Laura to go home or not?
I mean, I think it might have been the icing on the cake of the, what closed the deal. But I kind of feel like from the point, like I had said last week, where I felt like Tina and Otis, I believe, are very close in this game, and that they're the only two people that have their loved one in the game. They're also the only two winners. And I believe that, they were both in that alliance of five, while Jervis and Tyson are off making their own thing. I think that Otis and Tina are very close. We saw Tina the first time she played the game. Who was her wingman in that game? Colby. And I think she sees Otis as her new Colby. Plus, she wants Vetus to marry Katie. So I feel like the Baskowskis and the Wessons are in this thing together with Monica as the fifth wheel. And so I feel like Laura was always going to be the person that got voted out. Once Vetus didn't go home last week, it was always going to be Laura Boneham.
Well, now, Rob, I know that you do the exit interviews with the people as they are voted out each week. So when it rolls around to you getting Laura, is that going to be something that you're going to ask her so we can get this answer?
No, because in Laura's mind, I'm sure that she feels like, oh man, I was right there. I had this thing the whole time. I was they switched it on me because we had this girls' alliance and that was going good. And I'm sure in Laura's mind that was what was going on. But I think the real question would be to ask Tina, hey Tina, at what point did you decide that it was going to be Vetus that was going to go along with you to the merge and not Laura B? And if she's honest, I really think it's not going to be when Laura told Vetus he was going home. I think it's like when they decided to vote out Kat, that was when Tina decided that's how that was going to be.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's bring up another question from the Z-Box room from Bill, who says, Jeff Probst calls you the best player to never win. And we'll call you the Rob that doesn't suck. But what do you think the best player, or who do you think the best player is to never win, if not you?
Well, I think it's Suri. I think that Suri and I are actually very, very close. I think that Suri is almost like the female version of me. I think we play a very similar game, which is that neither of us want to go out and be the leader of the group. We want to make we want to have good relationships with everybody and sort of keep our options open. And neither of us are going to be a great physical asset before the merge, but I think that both of us, should we get past the merge in a game, are going to be, tough customers to deal with.
Right. Here is, I think, a great question from our Z-Box room. Since you cover both Big Brother and Survivor, which do you think has a more bitter jury, Survivor or Big Brother?
Well, I do feel like juries have become more bitter over the years, but I think that the answer is that the Big Brother jury is more bitter. And here's why. Because the Survivor game is 39 days, which is about less than half of what the Big Brother game is. And on Survivor, you go out there and you sort of have this, and it has become less and less this over the years, but you go out there and you have this sort of shared adventure where it's like you leave your comfort zone, and in some ways, like, you and your fellow survivors are a little bit like a band of brothers. You are 16, 18, 20 people that all went out there and faced a common enemy, which was the elements. So you kind of have that shared bond, whereas in the Big Brother house, I don't feel like you have that sort of shared experience with the other people that you played with. And you also, you have this whole backdrop of an adventure on Survivor, whereas in the Big Brother house, you really only have the relationships that you had with people. And so help you God if you betray people in the Big Brother house. And that's why I said that I thought Andy played such a great game this summer. Because he was able to betray people and win the game. I think he played a very difficult game. I think it's very hard to do what he did. So I would say that even though Andy was able to get the votes, he did do a very good job with what he was doing. It was very difficult for him to win with the game that he played, and I feel like it would be easier to win Survivor playing the way Andy played on Big Brother.
Definitely. I 100%, that was my pitch for him all season long. I know you and I both picked him to win right from the beginning. I'm just sick of the death threats.
Oh,
So, Andy should have lost. Fine, everybody, he should have lost. I will not. Rob said it. You can send those tweets in. No, no. I think, yeah. Let's go to a question from Dana Goodyear from our Z-Box room, who says, Rob, now that you are married and a new dad, would you drop everything to play Survivor again?
This is kind of like a tough question because there were times in my life where I wanted nothing more than to go back and to play Survivor again. But I really feel like at this point in my life, like I kind of feel like the desire to go back and play Survivor as I get older is less and less. And I think that a big part of that is I really love what I get to do about Survivor. I still love Survivor, but I love getting to podcast and getting to talk about it every week with all of the people that listen to my podcast. Like I have so much fun getting to do what I do. And then also, that you have a wife, now you have a kid, and it's like, boy, am I really gonna, like, sure, like on paper, if you write the story in your head of if I go and I win, boy, what could I do? But then I just kind of feel like sometimes the risk outweighs. Like it's like, boy, if I go out there and I go on for 2 episodes and then it's like, now I can't talk about now I can't podcast, I can't talk about the season. I left my family for 6 weeks. You're not earning money while you're gone. It's like, does the reward outweigh the risk? I don't know. I'm not gonna say I would. I would definitely say no, but I have to say, whereas there was a point in my life I would say absolutely 100%. I can't wait to go. I feel like at this point in my life, I don't judge my self-worth based on what I wanted, how I would do on Survivor. I kind of feel like I'm okay with if I never play Survivor again, I'm very much okay with that.
I don't think you should be judging your self-worth on it. I think you should be judging your worth on it. And
Yeah.
it is a 1 in 12 chance at $1 million, Rob?
Well, again, I don't think that's necessarily even. It's a 1 in 20, and I think some people have a better chance to do it. Other people come in with a bigger target on their back, and I often think if I did go back, I feel like I would have a target on my back.
Yeah, I agree. I think you would definitely have a target on your back, but I think you should totally go back. You have people to cover for you here, and I think you need to go in there and win it. I think you would. Or, what is the age to join? 18 is when you can officially. You got 18 years with your son now to turn him into the ultimate Survivor player, because clearly the show will still be around.
Okay. All right. Well,
All right.
we'll start working on challenges. We'll do swimming lessons later on tonight.
All right, there you go. Just throw them in the pool. Well, I know that we need to wrap things up, Rob. So why don't you tell people where they can find you? I know that you have some late-breaking podcast award news that you might want to share with everybody too, and then we'll wrap it up. But of course, I'll continue the conversation in the comment section below this video. So keep the conversation with us going in the edited version. But go ahead, Rob. Tell us where they can find you and what's going on with the podcast awards.
Sure. Later on tonight, if you're watching this live, I'm going to go right into Survivor Know-It-Alls, which is my weekly Survivor recap of the episode with Stephen Fishback, and we are definitely going to debate whether it was the right move to vote out Laura B instead of Vetus, and talk about what is coming in terms of the merge, what appears to be next week. And of course, as Eric mentioned, yes, Rob Has a Podcast is nominated for 2 podcast awards. And what we're doing this year is, should we win podcast awards, we are going to have the first ever Survivor roast, and I will be roasted by a number of my Survivor friends here in LA come late January, early February. And so you could vote for us every day at podcastawards.com starting on November 1st, and check out all of our shows at robasawebsite.com.
Well, thank you, Rob, for taking time out of your night to come and hang out with us and answer some questions. Everybody, you can, like Rob said, go ahead over to robhaswebsite.com and check out all of his content, and we will see you guys all around. We'll see you around soon.
Eric, thanks so much for having me. You do a great job always with all of the reality TV, and Z-Boxes was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I am sure they appreciate it, and I hope to have you back again soon, Rob.
All right, well, thank you.
Well, that about wraps up our Survivor show for this week, but don't worry, we have so much more live shows in store for you guys coming up. Of course, all the details for all of our live shows can be found over at yourrealityrecaps.com/live shows. So, what live shows are you talking about? Well, next week we go back to our regular times for our Amazing Race and our Survivor recaps, where we break down the whole entire show for you, John, Missy, and myself, as well as take your questions and answer them live. And that's at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then we are starting our Bravo recaps, where we're going to be covering The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Atlanta, and Vanderpump Rules for you all. And of course, you already know, every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, we do our Reality Check show. And this Friday night is going to be our Halloween Spooktacular, and John and I are going to be in costume. You can dress up and be in costume. It is going to be amazing. And of course, our Reality Check show is all about what you guys want us to talk about, pop culture, reality TV, what's happening on all television. It is such a fun show. We really hope you guys check it out. And then for all you Big Brother fans, this weekend we are going to be coming to you live with Helen from Big Brother 15, followed by Jesse next week. And again, all these showtimes and where you can watch them is all over at yourrealityrecaps.com/live show. Of course, subscribing and joining to this Z-Box room really helps us bring you guys more content like what you just watched tonight with Rob. And if you're watching in YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. That also helps support the show too. So until our next show, which is this Friday night for our Halloween Spooktacular, 7 p.m. Eastern, see you guys all then. Bye for now.